This is the film that, it has that worrying thing. It's the new Adam Sandler movie. Now, we all know where we stand on Adam Sandler. I mean, on his head when he's doing comedy, largely. But this is an interesting film. It's a post-9/11 drama, and it stars Don Cheadle and Adam Sandler. And Don Cheadle is a successful dentist who, at the beginning of the film, comes across an old friend of his, somebody he used to know from college, played by Adam Sandler, who is also training to be a dentist, but whose life has fallen apart since he lost his family in a plane crash. Adam Sandler has completely retreated. His character has completely retreated. He says that he has no knowledge of ever having had a family, and he's clearly on the brink of some major psychotic event. He needs help. Don Cheadle, meanwhile, is in a very uptight job, a very uptight marriage, and he actually needs to discover his playful side. And you know what? Between them, they start to help each other. And then they jam along to Bruce Springsteen records, and they both discover that, you know what? There's more to life than they thought it was. Now, on the positive side, Sandler is actually pretty good. There is something about Sandler's I really don't like him as a comedian, as I think I've made clear, but there is something about the way in which he plays comic madness that I've always thought is deeply creepy and deeply weird and deeply dangerous. And that's why I like him in Punch Drunk Love, because you believe that his character really is on the border of psychosis all the time. And in the case of this, he's rather well cast. Funnily enough, he looks exactly like Bob Dylan, circa sort of 1968, because it's kind of really raggedy hairstyle, and he's shambling around all over the place. But he does look like somebody who's genuinely in the throes of some major sort of mental collapse. He does it rather well, and there is a quality that Adam Sandler has, which when it is correctly harnessed is actually quite strong on screen. Don Cheadle is a very solid presence, and he does the job perfectly fine, although it's rather like he walked off the set of Crash onto this doing exactly the same performance, good, honest, stand-up kind of guy, and I don't know whether he shouldn't stretch himself more. But there is a very good 86-minute movie about their relationship. Sadly, there's a whole other hour of padding. I mean, there is, for example, a terrible role for Saffron Burrows as this kind of nymphomaniac stalker. It's one of those roles I'm just amazed that she took it on, because you read the script and go, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say or do any of this. There's a terrible role for Liv Tyler, who gets one of those, oh, I'm a professional psychiatrist. Like, no, you're not. You're Liv Tyler. The last time I saw you had elfin ears, and I'm sorry, I like you and everything, and your dad's that guy out of that band, but, you're not a professional. I'm sorry, it's like me saying I'm an astrophysicist. I don't believe for 1 minute that she's a psychoanalyst, a psychotherapist. There's a terrible role for Donald Sutherland. There's a thing at the end when everything comes it turns up in a court case, and it's one of those you can't handle the truth moments, and everyone shouts at each other and yada, 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 in the way that just doesn't happen. And, of course, it all ends up with a lot of hugging and a lot of reconciliation and a lot of moving forward and a really, really trite tying up of all the loose ends in a way that involves the Saffron Burrows character. So that's a shame, because it's one of those movies that I really wanted to be let loose on with a pair of scissors, because I tell you, give me a pair of scissors in that film and I'll cut you a good 86-minute movie out of it. It just happens to be 2 hours and 5 minutes long, but it's not without its merits. And there are moments in the Cheadle and Sandler stuff which are moving and are well observed. The other problem it has is it's not Reign Over Me. You see, it takes its title from Quadrophenia. That would be Reign O'er Me, I believe. But clearly...
As in O''ER.
Yeah, O'er.
Or.
Reign O'er. Well, as Roger Daltrey sings it, Okay, but this is Reign Over Me. Okay, fine. So he says at one point, Quadrophenia changed my life. And that song, Love Reign Over Me, which is the great climactic thing in Quadrophenia. If you've seen the film of Quadrophenia, it's the thing when Jimmy's driving the scooter off the edge of the Brighton Cliff. And it's a wonderful thing. I love The Who. I love Quadrophenia. He keeps going on about it. We keep hearing sections of this, which is great. And I love that song. But firstly, the title should be Reign Over Me, not Reign Over Me. And secondly, at the end of the movie, they blow all that goodwill because they play out to Pearl Jam doing it. I don't want to hear Pearl Jam doing it. You just spent the whole movie telling me that the Who's song is life-changing.
Probably couldn't afford it.
Oh, it's in the movie. The Who song is in the movie.
But
and then suddenly I have to say, hey, it's in Pearl Jam. Only love can make it rain.